It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I have with me in the studio chartered accountant and public affairs analyst Sesan Okunade. Good morning.
Good morning, Vero. And thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday indeed. And then joining us via Zoom is CEO of CKN News, Kehinde Nwandu. CKN, good morning. Thank you for joining us. All right, CKN will join us as soon as he is settled. But before we go to the paper, Sesan, there is this issue that has been generating reactions across the country, and that has to do with the recent attack on the community in Taraba, where the senator representing that community had to, raise an alarm about the invasion of the Ambazonian separatists into that community, where about 5 persons were killed, and that included a monarch. Now, when I read up this morning, developments with regards to that is that a leader of that Cameroonian separatist group, of the governing council of that group, is saying that it is not them that came to attack these people in Taraba, that it is the Cameroonian government that were behind the attack, and that it wants the Nigerian government to see it, that is the Cameroonian government, as an enemy.
Yeah, well, if you look at that issue critically of the sectionists coming to say they are not the one responsible, but the Cameroonian government, we gave room to it, my own personal room. Because we have said it times with that number that even within ourselves, we are exposed to so much killing, and our borders are so porous that even a sectionist in another nation, in another country, because we share border with you, you need to see how it plays around in developed country about some of these things. So the fact that he's asking them to, until it's been validated, he might be using that to divert the attention of the government. It's your words against my words. We did not actually get the culprit of those that perpetrated that evil. If we had got hold of 1 or 2 of them, we would have been able to trace down where the problem is coming from. He is telling us now that they are not the one, but they are sectionists. He's saying it's the Cameroonian government trying to bring up issue. Well, on the part of the government, I would just feel, let's investigate this, narrow it down, but it's still boiled down to what we have been saying. The government should stand up to the responsibility of securing our lives, our borders across the region, where we have borders with other countries should be properly secured, so that if it's within the nation that we are having the attack, we know how to address it. Now that we are seeing external people coming in to attack us, I think it collaborates what we've been saying in the Northeast, that most of the people that perpetrated that evil are either from Niger, from Mali, from outside the shore. Now it's coming from the border of Cameroon. How do we take care of this? Government should look at ways to investigate this. If it is the section, if it is the government, I'm sure at the upper level they can talk to one another and see what the problem. But the government must take responsibility to secure our border in such a way that the citizen of this country will be guaranteed maximum security.
Absolutely, and I would like for CKN to quickly react to that. CKN, I hear you're here with us now. What does this imply for our sovereignty as a nation, where we are seeing persons coming into the country to attack citizens? What does it say of our security? Like Sesan just said, we have had in various times that persons who are carrying out these attacks in the Northeast are not Nigerians. And now we are seeing another incident, although the leader of the separatist group is saying they are not the ones, but that is the Cameroonian government. But what does it imply for us as a country?
Yes, good morning, Sesan. Good morning in the studio there. And let me say this as quickly as possible. We have to be very careful in taking some of this information that comes from some of these groups. Most often than not, in terms of war, a lot of propaganda goes around, and propaganda is an instrument which government and forces use to push on their agenda. So the separation group pointing accusing finger at the Cameroonian government being behind the attack should be taken should not be taken seriously as far as I'm concerned. The attempt may be just to put Nigeria and Cameroon in a situation where they have to start seeing themselves as enemy or want to us to do it. But we have enough problem facing us in Nigeria currently for us to start engaging any country in war. But back to your question, yes, it's a fact that the problem we are having now is the issue foretold. If you look at the porosity of our borders are so porous that we cannot even man them, and most often than not, this in itself has become a challenge across Nigeria. And just last night, I was watching an interview with the Taraba state governor, where he specifically stated that where this incident took place is just few steps away from, it's just a border town that is few steps away from, meters away from each other. Even the people, those in Nigerian side and the Cameroonian side, speak the same language. And that is what he says. So they are so integral that you don't even know who is who. That is one. Second one is he also raised a fundamental issue that he has been raising these issues of insecurity within those border areas in Taraba State with the military for a long time. Nobody's listening to him. He went further to say that there is an airstrip in that area which can be utilized by the government. And he said that what he told the military is that they should bring a military base to that place, which be an Air Force base, so that they can be able to use that even the runway you have there is far better than the one in the state capital. But our government, that they've not listened to all his advice and rest of them, this is happening. But what I know is that it is only bringing an international dimension to the fight against insurgents, and our military have to up the ante now, because the primary responsibility of our military is against external aggression. Not even what they are doing now. What they are doing now, what the military is doing in Nigeria, is the work of the police. That is not the work of the army. Run after internal security is the primary responsibility of the police. That of army is external aggression. And so, with this coming out, I think we should be more strategic in our approach to this issue, or else this was how Boko Haram started. If we just nip it in the bud and they start spreading, then we are going to have a serious problem. And don't forget, Ali Ndume made a statement 2 days ago that within the late charge that ISWAP and Boko Haram are regrouping. That in itself is also a very big problem.
All right, so let's head to the papers now, and let me begin with the Nigerian Tribune. States gets federal government's 656 billion naira support. Each state to receive 18.225 billion naira in 6 tranches. You find the details on the pages of the Nigerian Tribune. To the national economy, it says relief as President Muhammadu Buhari approves fresh 656 billion naira loan for 36 states. To the leadership newspaper now, after 3 positive growth, Nigeria's GDP slowed to 4.03%. Federal government blames impact of COVID-19, dismisses looming food crisis. Expert proffer solution says stronger growth required. To the Daily Independent, Nigeria's economic recovery slows as GDP drops by 0.98%. To the Business Day, real estate emerges world's most popular store of wealth. Details on the pages of the Business Day. To this Nigerian newspaper, Kaduna passengers stranded as rail workers commence warning strike. Now to the Daily Trust, train passengers stranded and RC loses millions as unions strike. To the Daily Times, Buhari breaks silence on hashtag EndSARS panels report. Details on the pages of the Daily Times. To the News Direct, energy economic growth, US, Nigeria seal $2.17 billion agreement. Nigeria remains our most important partner in Africa, US. To the Blueprint, with telecoms shut down, bandits now use walkie-talkie in Katsina, SSG speaking. And to the Daily Sun now, bandits now use radio frequency walkie-talkie. Victims narrate 29-day ordeal with kidnappers in Niger State. Details on the pages of the Daily Sun. To the Nation newspaper, Buhari backs lawmakers' position on direct primary. Governors lose out. President on same page with us, says Gbajabiamila. To the Guardian newspaper, hashtag EndSARS report, why we are yet to act. Buhari tells Blinken. Blinken will insist on accountability, addressing victims' grievances. Nigeria must be redesignated on religious violators list. U.S. agency kicks federal government Uyibode Hussaini Huriwa react to removal from religious freedom blacklist. All right. And to the Vanguard newspaper now. EndSARS federal government waiting for panel report from states. Buhari speaking. Controversy as panel member raises an alarm over unfair prosecution. We are being unfairly persecuted. Ebo Adigburua, all of that on the pages of the Vanguard newspaper. So there was this report that came out from the World Bank, and it says that household food security of Nigerians under threat. It says the threat of insecurity and COVID-19 pandemic over household food insecurity. But then again, the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics is saying this report contradicts their own report because for them, inflation rate has moderated for the 7th time, and food inflation dropped to 18.34% year-on-year in October. But food security, household food security under threat, CKN, I wonder if the World Bank is just realizing this and what your impressions are of this report, basically.
My problem is not with World Bank just realizing this. My problem is with the herdsmen at MBS who are denying that and saying that inflation has gone down. That is my own take. World Bank can say it. But if the Nigerian agency, the government agency that are supposed to be overseeing this and be giving us necessary statistics is giving us what personally I don't believe is true, well, all well and good. But I just asked the head of that agency to just go to the nearest market in Abuja. If he does, which I know he doesn't go to the market. So he should just go to the nearest market in Abuja. Either in Gwagwalada, will say the one in Wuse 2, or the one in Kado area, or Karu, anywhere within the Abuja, and go and ask for the prices of foodstuff and find out whether inflation has gone down. That I'm focusing on where the World Bank is focused, and try to see whether the prices of tomato has gone down, that of rice, beans, yam, fish, and all the staple foods. Nigerians are dying, my sister, whether you will like it or not. The government can always bury its head in the sand like the ostrich and believe that all is good. But it is just a wake-up call. We can also strike it with what World Bank said in terms of insecurity. Yes, the insecurity is a big challenge to food security, because if you look at it, most of the farmers are not going to the farm any longer, because when they get there, they are killed by herdsmen, they are kidnapped by bandits and terrorists and the rest of them. That in itself becomes a very big challenge. So most of the food baskets, Benue State and most of the other parts of the country, even in the north, where you expected that farmers would, by this time and now, would have been yielding bountifully, but they cannot do that because they get kidnapped and they are now being asked to pay ransom. It's happening everywhere. It's happening in Katsina, it's happening in Adamawa, it's happening in Yobe, it's happening everywhere, Benue, and even extended to the southern part of Nigeria. So that in itself is a very, very big challenge. And just taking that further, even when they finally even get these food items out, transporting it to other parts of the country becomes a problem. The roads are totally bad. That is the second one. Then the third one is also the issue of all the various taxes or underhand taxes that our security agencies collect from these farmers and transporters. So these things have a way of escalating the prices of goods and services, and at the end of it, what else? So the World Bank is not just waking up. They've been releasing this report periodically. It is whether we as a people are looking at what they are saying and our government agencies doing the right thing. If you said the rate of inflation is coming down, once it doesn't have anything to do with my pocket and doesn't have anything to do with the table on my table, I will not believe you.
Let me bring the economist in now. That's Olusegun. Perhaps he knows the indices by which government is measuring this inflation to have said that even food inflation has dropped. I'm wondering.
The indices, if you ask me, from the perspective of an accountant, I'm confused myself.
Really?
Because when we talk about figures and reality, we need to be very objective about the figures that the MBS discharged to us. We have asked severally that they should disperse to us the yardstick that they use in measuring, if it's different from some of the basic parameters that some of us know about. But what is the reality, like CKN said? Go to an average market. I did a statistics of the cost of foods in the last 6 months, and just currently last week. The average you will see is that you've seen an increase. The minimum you talked about is just 50% increase. So, and the least I got was about 4%, which is just gari, which is being produced locally. Part of the problem we are faced with is, one, like CKN said, our farmers are not going to the farm. Some of the food that you have to talk of about the poultry, the feed that the poultry uses are imported. What is the dollar saying currently? So if the MBS is coming to tell us that inflation is dropping, but the foreign exchange is increasing, I don't see the logic behind that analysis again. So let's leave even the problem that we have within those foods, because we know we can't shy away from it. Rice is being imported, even though government will tell you that as we speak we are the largest producer of rice in Africa, but I've not seen a local rice in the last 1 year that is being produced here. It's my personal. I've looked for it in the market, I can't get. So most of these things are being imported. Most of the foodstuffs that we cannot produce because of insecurity are being imported. What do you use in buying them? Foreign exchange. Is the foreign exchange going up or down? It's going up. So on what basis are you now saying that the food security or inflation is going down? I keep asking myself, is it that we just want to say things so that people will just say that we are working? Do people sit down to ask that posterity will
the people that will say you are working are not feeling the impact of what you say?
No,
what you are saying?
I'm saying on the part of the MBS. Are you just chunking out these figures so that they will say, they want to say something, or it's reality? The truth is, let some of these politicians and government people go to the market. Don't even send your housemaid. Do a survey. This that I did not send anyone. I went there myself, and in fact there was a woman that told me that madam is not around, why are you coming to buy? I said no, I just want to have a feel, because you must be able to give practical result of what you have actually saying. The food is on the high side. The cost of egg was about 1,200. As we speak, it's over 2,000 per crate. The cost of beans is from around 30,000 to about 70,000. The cost of rice is about from 18,000 to over 30, and we are coming to Christmas period. So when they bring out these statistics, they bring some of because you said as an economist, as a chartered accountant, as if some of us too don't know the yardstick at which they use. Let's talk of reality. Reality on ground
it means
shows
they are far from the realities on the ground.
Far from it. Very, very far. It's not just one far from it. Because when you say inflation is dropping, I match it with our foreign exchange. Foreign exchange is not coming down. And I stand to say this, I'm on the public, majority of the foodstuff that we take are being imported. That's the truth. So what do you use in procuring them? It is not naira, it is foreign exchange. So on what basis are you now, even if they still send that same food to you at the same price, your dollar exchange rate will definitely make it goes up. So let the agency that are concerned in dishing out figure work with reality, not bringing just opposing figures to just bring it out and let people. Otherwise, people will lose confidence. They keep, broadening the trust. The trust gap. Because if somebody is telling me that inflation is come down, I should be able to go to the market and say, Vero, rice has dropped. Last week it was a buy. Quickly go and buy before December. As we speak, in fact, we don't know whether we are going to eat rice during this Christmas period, because the cost at which it's every day. Gas, don't even go there. Don't even go there. So these are things that we are seeing, and people will come out with figure. As this morning, I doubt if I'm an economist, or most of the things I learned those days as an accountant, as a professional, I don't think it's working, because the reality does not just oppose the figures that we are getting.
Right. CKN, what are the implications of all of these issues now, and where do we begin to address it? I know it will be, you'll be saying these are things we keep saying, but we can't stop saying these things. We must keep saying it. The implication, and where do we begin to address these matters?
Well, we'll continue talking, and we continue to say it. It is left for those in power to be able to face reality and at times smell the coffee. Let me put it to you that a hungry man is an angry man. So if the people are hungry, then the potentiality of them being angry is there. And if they're not getting the basic things, the basic necessity of life, which was one of the reasons why they voted government into power, then there's problem. So what are the solutions? The government should look inward and make sure, going around and say you have this, you know, the most annoying part to me is every time ministers come out to say, oh, they've distributed trillions and billions of naira to less privileged or whatever language they use, and I laugh. Who are these people you are talking about? They've come out with figures. The minister will always tell you that, oh, just like about a week or so, I was just reading where they say they distributed so billions of naira. Who are you fooling? You're not fooling anybody. You don't do this that way. The basic Nigerians are the most, as far as I'm concerned, Nigerians are one of the most patient people you can get anywhere in the world. What are they asking for? Basic necessity. Give me water. Give me good road, education, good health. Let me see food to buy. They're not even saying give me food. Let the prices be affordable for me to buy. And that is all. You can now do whatever you want to do. But those basic necessities are not there. So the solution, as I said, is that let the government make it much, much easier for people, for Nigerians to get more stable food to eat. The person at MBS that is talking and saying, releasing all sorts of, even if he's not going to the market, his family members in the villages are suffering. Is he not aware? So what are we talking about? But the reality, as it were, just as Sesan said, that go to the market. It's as simple as it comes. Go to the nearest market now. Ask for the prices of rice, beans, yam. Okay. Those of us that go to the market, we know. Even if we don't go, we give our wives to go to. Pero you go to the market, you know now. God, they give you money to make a market. You say, you know what in there. You know what in there.
Of course.
It's true. You know what in there. So if for anybody to come as bring us some statistics, and we just come here and want us to just believe that we are doing a great disservice to our people. We are doing a great disservice. And I believe that what we can only do as journalists is what we are doing. And just like Sesan is also doing as a professional, that is telling the government the truth. All those that are coming out and giving them all this because are telling them lies. And I hope that President Muhammadu Buhari, and I always bring it back to President, he's the president of Nigeria. Everything
we have to quickly
this is not what the promise was
on a break, CKN. I know you can go on end talking about this matter, but we need to quickly take this break. When we return, we'll conclude on this matter. Stay with us. All right, before we went on the break, CKN was talking to us about the implication of these figures. And let's bring it back to you, Sesan, the implication. And if we are to look at policy change that will address these matters drastically, what are we looking at?
First and foremost, security. Second, security. Third, security.
Right.
If we have that, Nigerians are good at what they know how to do best. Farming, quality food. I've had opportunity to ask people, do you know the yam tuber that is produced here is one of the best in the world that we can even export out? We have the ground. There was a time I was in Israel, and I had some people who followed me to this country, and they asked question. Some of these things that grew on the road, who planted them? I say, you are deceiving yourself. They are weeds as far as we are concerned. They grow on their own. I can try it with them. Let's throw some corn here and come back some weeks later. Whether it will not germinate, it will grow on its own. So we are blessed with the land. We are blessed with people that are ready to do it. But where have we found ourselves? Insecurity has made everybody to go back to their shell. Imagine the number of people that we have in IDP. Majority of them are farmers. That's what they take pride,
their livelihood,
in doing that. But they are IDP, not doing anything. So what do you expect to come out of it? Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, as we speak, we are supposed to be harvesting, having plenty. We are complaining. So when the normal time that we experience scarcity comes, what becomes of us? It's going to be worse. But people will tell you that no, because as we speak, nobody is planting. Nothing is happening. In fact, in the southwest, people are not going to farm. So we will only resort on my own. The basic thing is that people will resort into, maybe we'll start importing gari from China. But the implication is you are putting pressure on the forex again. So government, that's why I said the number one solution is security. Number two, no other policy as far as I'm concerned. If you're able to put security in place and everybody is able to go about their normal business, there is a way these business are interrelated. You have the land to cultivate and plant things. I need it. I'm going to buy off you. The off-takers will buy. Okay, I'm not even into agriculture, but I need to travel and get money so that I'll be able to buy. So they are interrelated.
Yeah.
And once there is peace everywhere, all over the nation, you discover that everything will come back to normal.
Well, CKN, your final word on this, because we need to wrap up quickly.
Well, for me, the federal government needs to get its priorities right. Where it's investing money and throwing away money is not where to. It's not the best thing to. Where he's talking about social welfare, social experience, that is not where the money. I think the problem is that the Ministry of Agriculture that we used to have during the time of additional has totally collapsed. We saw what happened when Akinwumi Additional was the Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria, and they saw the result: rice, name it. You've forgotten that we used to have cassava bread. Cassava was so much in surplus that we started thinking of cassava bread, and where are all those things now? No, the man at the Ministry of Agriculture is practically doing nothing. So we need to rechannel our focus. The government used to get its priority right. If it's going to be to channel those money that is just dashing away, and they are dashing away, and people are just siphoning and putting in their pocket and saying that you are doing social security, and let us channel that into the agriculture sector. That could also be part of security that Sesan is talking about. But let us engage our farmers. Let us buy tractors. Let us engage in mechanized farming. Nobody is doing the kind of things we are doing. And if you go to the US, you will see a very large farm of thousands and hundreds of kilometers owned by somebody. And you see tractors and tractors. The way we are still doing farming in 1960 is still what we are doing now. You see people going to the farm with the hoe and cutlass to go and dig ridge, and that is not how we must go into mechanized farming. And if we cannot do it alone, we can encourage foreigners to come and invest in our farming. Bukola Saraki tried it in Kwara State, and it was working at one time. I don't know what is happening there in that state now. We can still that. People from Botswana, from Zimbabwe were coming to Nigeria to farm. All this we can be able to do. So, but if our president continue going from one country to another and saying that is try to attract investors and the rest of them, well, I would not be able to get the written. It will be impossible. So that is my personal opinion. Let us go back to agriculture and fund our Ministry of Agriculture, both at the state and the federal level. Not just only the federal, even the state government should do more in the state with their ministries of agriculture and encourage farmers.
We need to own our agriculture statewide. Thank you so much, Chartered Accountants and Public Affairs Analysts, Sesan Okunade, and CEO CKN News, Kehinde Nwandu, for your time on the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
All right.
Have a look.
And you too.